Congressman Dr. Ronny Jackson, along with my good friend and co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend, Rachel Campos Duffy. Thank you both so much for being here. Congressman, let me start with you. You heard the stats. When our own Surgeon General under the Biden administration is on CNN admitting these numbers, they're not really following the science. They're not really balancing mental health and the health of our children and our families. They've already chosen one path.
Absolutely, Pete. You know, we did this to ourselves for no good reason. I saw some statistics from the CDC earlier today that said approximately 700 kids between the ages of 0 and 18 years of age have died from this since day one. 700, less than 700. This is crazy. We shut down our schools, and we did this to our kids because of that. We should, from the very beginning, we shouldn't have been treating everybody as the same. We knew that in the very beginning that the kids weren't getting it. They weren't spreading it. They weren't getting sick from it. They certainly weren't dying from it. Yet we went ahead because Biden pushed it, and we shut down schools and we punished our kids. And now we're seeing these huge suicide rates in kids, thousands of kids a year that are committing suicide, as well as the other stuff that's happening to these kids too. Their proficiency in school, their test scores. A lot of these kids are going to be so far academically behind, they're not going to catch up at all. I mean, this is 2 years, and now they're talking about doing it again for this next semester of school. This is crazy. I mean, we did this to our children for no good reason. We should have treated kids differently from day one.
Yes. All the evidence showed that we should treat them differently from day one, yet we ignored it, and here we're doubling down on it. Rachel, you're so great on this topic, and it's such a joy to host with you on Fox and Friends Weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 6 to 10 p.m. or 6 to 10 a.m. on the Fox News Channel. Just a shameless plug there.
Don't forget to promo our New Year's Eve thing too, Pete.
And New Year's Eve, which we're doing at the end of the show. Join us on New Year's Eve, Congressman. If you want to come along as well, you're always welcome. It's in Tennessee. Make the trip. Right. It's not that far. But I have this. We've talked about this, Rachel. There's this looming sense that here we are, almost 2 years in. We know what we know about Omicron, yet we're looking at the autocrats going back to the same playbook, mandating vaccines to kids as young as 5, talking about masks, eating lunch outside, now possibly back to Zoom calls. Is it really possible that we would go back to the future in this spring semester or even through the summer to next year? It seems they can't let it go.
No, they can't. I mean, it's really clear. The virus is not killing children. You had Dr. McCary on earlier. He actually is the one who put the numbers together because our CDC, who has billions of COVID dollars, couldn't seem to put it together. Not one healthy child has died in America of COVID, but 2,800 have died of suicide. We have a over 50% spike in female teenage attempted suicides. And as the CNN reporter said, this spike in anxiety and depression, not to mention neuroticism. You know, adults who are loving and caring and care about children, what they would do is reassure our children that nothing would happen to them, that they are safe from this virus. And they've done the exact opposite. They've destroyed their childhoods. They've taken away all those markers, proms and graduations. They've told them they can't sing in school. They've forced them to eat apart in school.
I laugh, but it's not
They've
funny.
masked them. Yeah. They've tortured them. They've muzzled them. And then they wonder why we have this spike in mental health crisis. By the way, in a country that doesn't have enough mental health professionals to deal with this spike in mental health crisis with our children. This is absolutely one of the worst results of COVID that I've ever seen. And to me, it just proves that the Democrats don't care about kids. They have used children to advance their political agenda, and it's absolutely it's deplorable.
Absolutely. And they listen to the unions. The unions write the rules, and then and they tell the rest of us we have to deal with it. So, Congressman, here's my question. There are people that live in free states, and for them, life is different. In fact, kids are going to school without masks. It's almost normal. Then there are people that want to move to free states, and that may be an option for them. But then there are other people who are stuck in states where lockdowns, masks, and mandatory vaccines for 5-year-olds are where they are for whatever station in life they're in. What could a Republican Congress do, would you, to take the majority in 22 to loosen that grip for people that are stuck in those states?
Well, I think to start with, we have to figure out what happened. How did we get to where we're at? I think there's a lot of people that need to be investigated. We need to go back. We need some accountability for how we got to where we're at. I think just the whole nature will change once the Republicans get the majority back, because they just won't be able to get away with what they're getting away with right now. I mean, you said earlier, could they possibly go down this path again? I guarantee you they'll go down this path again. It worked so well for them last time. They were able to use this for unsolicited mail-in ballots. It gives them power. It gives them authority. It basically, it gives them everything they need. This worked really, really well for them, and they were able to blame everything on COVID. Everything the Biden administration did that went wrong, they blame it on COVID, whether it's the economy, whether it's crime. No matter what the issue is with low poll numbers, it's all because of COVID.
It's true. Rachel, last word, real quick.
Listen, I hope the Republicans take it over in the midterms, but I want to see them talk more about rolling back the freedoms that we lost during this pandemic. It's been very serious, and the damage to our children, for many, is just outrageous. We need somebody to do something before the midterm, frankly, and probably if the governors if the governors can get back the power, according to what Biden says, maybe that would help. But let's remove these federal mandates from airplanes and everything else.
Amen. Well said. Dr. Ronny Jackson, thank you so much. Rachel, I will see you in the free state of Tennessee for New